Hi, I'm Eric Shannon, Associate Dean for Student Services here at St. John's Law, and I'm pleased today to talk a little bit about our international abroad opportunities for upper-level JD students. So there are two general categories of abroad opportunities that I'm going to cover today that we make available to our students. The first are our exchange programs, and we have those at two sites in particular, Glasgow and the Sorbonne. And we also offer an international practicum program, which is more of a work study program in partnership with NATO. So current 1L students are eligible to apply to these programs, and that is the JD class of 2026. And in terms of timing of when these programs will take place, the exchange abroad programs will take place in the spring of your 2L year if you're applying, and that's spring of 2025. The International Practicum program in partnership with NATO would take place in fall of your 3L year, which would be fall of 2025. Um, the NATO practicum requires security clearance, which is one of the reasons for the significant lead time that we provide between the application and participation. So why study abroad? There are lots of reasons, why someone may want to study abroad. The legal profession is becoming increasingly global, and it offers an opportunity to learn and to work in another location and to hone a set of skills that you may not otherwise have the opportunity to during your time in law school. And of course, to have a great time as well. Program eligibility. So these programs are selective. There's an application process, which I'll talk more about in just a moment. Um, there's a minimum cumulative GPA requirement of 3.20 or above to be eligible for all of these international programs that will be covered today. Some of the programs have additional requirements such as language requirements or course prerequisites, which I'll cover, which will be included in these slides and which are also posted on the St. John's Law School website. So moving for a moment to talk about our international exchange programs. The first of our two locations is Glasgow in Scotland. So St. John's Law has an exchange agreement with the University of Glasgow with their law school division. And our students, the JD students, are, as I said, able to apply towards the end of their 1L year now. This would be for a full semester of studying at the University of Glasgow during your 2L spring. So that would be the spring of 2025. Students, as I mentioned earlier, there's a minimum GPA requirement of 3.2 to be eligible. And students who participate in this program will study third and fourth level courses at the University of Glasgow in law. So one important thing to note is that students should be really flexible in terms of what courses they're willing to take when at Glasgow. There is a somewhat limited offering of courses that are available to visiting students. We would, of course, work with you in terms of your course enrollment, but that's an important thing to note about this program. Students also typically must find their own private housing accommodations in the city of Glasgow, which again, we can assist you with, as can the University of Glasgow, but that's an important thing to note. And so quite a bit of independence and self-direction is definitely necessary to participate in this program. It entails completing 60 credits on the Glasgow system, which is the equivalent of 14 credits here at St. John's, which students who participate in the program would get on a pass-fail basis, assuming that they pass all of their Glasgow courses. Our second exchange study abroad opportunity for a semester, which would also take place in the 2L spring, is with the Sorbonne in Paris, France. Importantly, fluency in the French language, that's reading, writing, speaking, is required to participate in this program. So 14 credits are also available, similar to the Glasgow program. And also, as with the Glasgow program, those students who are selected preliminarily by the St. John's Law deans would have to also apply in the fall of their 2L year formally to the institution in October of their 2L in order to get final confirmation to be eligible to then participate in their 2L spring. The deadline, importantly, for applying to these exchange programs, as well as the NATO Practicum, which I'll talk about in a moment, is April 18th of 2024. And that's to give us enough time to process the applications, to do interviews with candidates, and to make sure that there's enough time to arrange everything. The application is fairly straightforward. It will ask for a personal statement as to why you wish to participate in one of these exchange programs. We'll ask for a writing sample, as well as for you to list faculty members who would be able to recommend you for these programs. So moving to the second category, our practicum, we have a practicum arrangement with NATO that enables either one or two students, depending, in their 3L fall to participate in a semester-long, really work-study opportunity for a total of 13 credits. And this takes place at the Office of Legal Affairs for NATO's Allied Command Office that is located outside of Brussels in a town called Mons, Belgium, which is about 30 to 40 minutes on public transportation or driving. And this is a semester-long work-study program that is an incredibly unique opportunity for those who are interested in international law, public international law, and it entails working in the, as I said, the Office of Legal Affairs and doing legal research in the day-to-day on a wide variety of international law issues. There are a number of prerequisites for being eligible to participate in the NATO Practicum, including specifically having completed international law course or national security in the law course prior to arriving at NATO. Students must also be citizens of a NATO member nation in order to be eligible to pass the necessary background security clearance that's required to participate in the NATO Practicum. This requires all of the international programs do, but particularly this program requires quite a bit of independence and self-direction. It's important to note that NATO looks for in their candidates folks who are committed to the ideals and the mission of NATO, which is ultimately a military organization. So there are 13 credits available through the practicum work study at NATO. Students would get a number of credits for their hours working at the internship. There's also an APWR course where students put together a portfolio of their work, as well as a directed research, which is a 3-credit large directed research course that is done with a professor here at St. John's remotely and terminates in a significant lengthy paper. What I would also note is that we do offer international practical programs at other locations as well, and I'm talking now most specifically with the International Criminal Court, The Hague. For that program, we don't have a formal pipeline, and so students who are interested in participating in that option should reach out either to me or to one of our professors in international law through SICL or otherwise, and we're happy to discuss with you what all that process, an application process would look like. As I said, a significant amount of self-direction and independence is required to participate successfully in the NATO Practicum. It does also entail a quite in-depth background security clearance that can take up to a full calendar year. And so that's important to note as well. Candidates for this program will have interviews with a committee of faculty members and administrators for selection as well toward the end of their 1L year. The deadline to apply to participate in the NATO Practicum, like the international exchange programs, is also April 18th, 2024. And again, that may seem early, but particularly for NATO, which requires completion of the government security background check, it requires a significant amount of time to do that. The application is relatively straightforward. Again, we ask for statement of interest, we ask for your resume, the name of faculty recommenders, and also passport information to ensure that this would be a viable option. So if you are ready to apply, there's more information available on the online brochures for these programs. The St. John's Law website pages also has detailed information about these, as well as, of course, this video, which will be posted onto those websites as well. We're going to be emailing all eligible students, all current 1L students very soon. If you have specific questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to me or to my colleague, Associate Director of Student Services, Christina Ebanks. But thank you very much for your attention to this informational overview. And we hope that you apply if you're interested in these programs. Have a great day.